What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Minecraft episode. Today's a project I've been looking forward to for quite a while, because we're finally going to be creating something completely unique for this world, the Emerald Base. Now, if you've been following this series, you'll know we've already built a different structure, and you'll also be aware that we're building more structures, farms and areas throughout this entire world. But I wanted to create a base that really stands out and feels like a true centerpiece. And when I was thinking about different themes, materials and ideas, I kept coming back to emeralds. Not only are emerald blocks one of the most vibrant and eye-catching blocks in Minecraft, but they're also one of the rarest resources to collect in large quantities. Building an entire base around emeralds is definitely ambitious, but that's exactly what makes it exciting. So in today's episode, we're going to gather materials, work on the design, tackle some unexpected challenges and slowly transform an empty area into what will hopefully become one of the best builds we have created so far. This project took a lot longer than I originally anticipated, so if you enjoy large-scale Minecraft builds and want to see more projects like this in the future, please be sure to leave a like on the video. Now, let's get started. Before we could build anything, we needed to decide exactly where this emerald base is going to go. One of the biggest mistakes people make when building large projects is rushing into the construction without properly planning the location first. In my opinion, the location determines everything. It affects the overall scale, the atmosphere, how visible the building is from a distance, and, well, how well it connects to the rest of the world. So we spent some time exploring and looking for an area that would do the project some justice. Eventually we found this spot, and the more I looked at it, the more it felt perfect. We've got plenty of space to work with here. The terrain is interesting enough to add character without being too difficult to build on. And most importantly, this area gives us enough room to expand later if we decide to have farms, storage systems, towers, or other structures connected to the base. With the location selected, it's time to start preparing the land. As always, the less exciting part comes first. Terraforming. A lot of players underestimate just how much time goes into preparing land for a large project. Sometimes the actual build is easier than the groundwork. So, for the next while, I focused on clearing trees, removing uneven terrain, flattening sections of the landscape, and creating a foundation that would allow us to build without constantly fighting the environment. This process we haven't shown, as it took quite a while, and we think to show this would have been rather boring for you guys. There were moments where it felt like I was making no progress at all. You spend 10 minutes digging, looking up, and somehow it just looks and feels like the area hasn't even changed. But eventually things start to come together. The ground becomes smoother. The shape of the build area starts to emerge. And for the time, I could actually visualise how large this project was going to be. With the site prepared, we could finally move on to the exciting part, the design. Whenever I'm building something large, I try to focus on the overall silhouette first. It's easy to get distracted by details, but details don't matter if the structure itself doesn't look good. So we began laying out the rough dimensions. I wanted the base to feel powerful and impressive, but without looking bulky. Something elegant, something that looks like it belongs in a fantasy world. The emerald theme naturally pushed you towards a design that felt wealthy, magical, and almost royal, may I say. Because at the end of the day, an emerald is the most valuable within this game. So we may as well push for value. We want it to look as rich as it is, really. We experimented with several different shapes before finally settling on the final layout. The goal was to create something symmetrical, while still feeling interesting from every single angle. One thing we've learned building in Minecraft is that symmetry can be beautiful, but too much symmetry can make a build feel lifeless. So whilst the main structure follows a balanced design, there's enough variations and details throughout to keep it visually engaging. Once the outline was complete, it was time to start gathering resources. That's where things got interesting. I mean, not really, as we did do this in creative mode. But this is where things would get rather interesting if you were to try it. If you do decide to try it, please let me know if you've made better in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. If you were to try this in survival mode, just remember, building an emerald themed base sounds great in theory, but actually, gathering enough emeralds is a completely different story. Unlike blocks such as stone or wood, emeralds aren't something you can collect effortlessly in huge quantities. You need a plan. Fortunately, villagers exist. So if you spend a significant amount of time trading, and when I say a significant amount of time, I mean a lot, farming resources, selling items, restocking trades, repeating the process over and over again. There's moments where you will question if building with emerald blocks is a good idea. But once the stacks start piling up, it'll become clear that the effort will be worth it. Watching an empty chest gradually fill with emeralds will be surprisingly satisfying. Each stack represents progress. Each trade brings you closer to completing the vision. Eventually, you'll have enough resources to begin the construction. Every great structure needs a strong foundation. This stage isn't usually the most glamorous, but it is one of the most important. The foundation establishes the scale and proportions of the entire building. If something feels wrong here, it usually stays wrong throughout the entire project. So take your time. Carefully place each section, double check measurements, and make adjustments wherever something doesn't look quite right. There's several moments where I built entire sections only to remove them minutes later. It's just part of the creative process. Sometimes an idea looks absolutely amazing in your head, but it doesn't work once it's actually in the game. Eventually, everything starts to click. The foundation felt balanced, the dimensions looked correct, and the build finally starts to begin to feel real. Then comes the most exciting phase. The walls begin to rise. The shape of the base becomes more defined. And for the first time ever, you start to see what the finished project might look like. We wanted emerald blocks to be the star of the show, but using too many of them can actually make a build look kind of flat. That's why block contrast is so important. Instead of covering everything in emerald blocks, you'll see that they were combined with complementary materials to create depth and texture. The contrast helps the emerald sections stand out even more. As the structure grows taller, the project starts attracting attention. Even from a distance, the bright green sections immediately catch the eye. And honestly, seeing it come together is incredibly motivating. This is one of the builds where every single hour invested feels worthwhile because the results are just so visible. Details are what separate a good build from a great build. The structure's complete, but still feels unfinished. It needs a bit of personality. This is where you start working on your decorative elements, extra supports, custom shapes, layered sections, architectural features, small additions that might not be noticed individually, but they make a huge difference overall. This is how you make a build truly come alive. The more details you add, the more realistic and impressive the base becomes. One of my favourite aspects of building is watching a project evolve from a simple outline into something that feels like it has its own story. A place that looks lived in, a place that looks important, and that's exactly what was happening here. A base isn't just about the outside though, the interior matters too. After all, we're going to spend a lot of time here, so I want the inside to be practical while still matching the emerald theme. We're going to create dedicated areas for storage, crafting, enchanting, and maybe even future expansions. Organisation is something I always appreciate in survival worlds and creative worlds because it saves so much time later. If we organise now, when it becomes survival, we can still expand whenever we want because we've planned it all out. There's nothing worse at the end of the day than searching through 20 random chests to find just one item. So the interior will be designed with efficiency in mind. At the same time, I don't want functionality to come at the expense of appearance. The goal is to create a space that feels useful and impressive, somewhere that you're excited to return to after every adventure. You'll see exactly what I mean in one of the next videos along the way when we start making the interior for this build. Now, as you may know, no Minecraft project ever goes exactly according to plan, and this build was no exception. There were so many design changes, moments where sections looked completely wrong, and several occasions where we spent an hour or more working on something just to replace it later on. But honestly, that's the part that makes building more enjoyable. Remember, if you are to do this in a survival world, you will also deal with issues like resource shortages. If everything works perfectly fine the first time, there isn't much of a challenge. Some of the best ideas come from mistakes. Problems force you to think creatively, and in the end, those adjustments help you to improve the build far beyond the original concept. It's a good reminder that progress does not have to be perfect. You just need to keep moving forward. Before we wrap up today's video, I want to take a few minutes to talk about something that is much more important than Minecraft. Mental health. I know many of us come to games like Minecraft to relax, escape stress, be creative, and spend time with people who share similar interests. But behind every username, every profile picture, and every comment is a real person dealing with real life. And the truth is, a lot of people struggle silently. Whether it's anxiety, depression, loneliness, stress, burnout, grief, or simply feeling overwhelmed by life, these challenges can affect anyone. Sometimes people feel like they're carrying everything on their own. Sometimes they feel like nobody understands what they're going through. And sometimes all it takes is one conversation, one supportive message, or one genuine friendship to make a huge difference. That's one of the reasons why we've worked hard to build a positive and welcoming community. Our Discord server isn't just a place to talk about Minecraft. It's a place where people can meet each other, share interests, make friends, support one another, and feel part of something bigger. Whilst we're not mental health professionals, and the server is not a replacement for professional help, we do believe in creating a safe, respectful environment where people can connect and encourage each other. Over time, we've seen so many friendships form. People help each other through difficult periods, and community members support one another in ways that are genuinely inspiring to me. If you've been feeling isolated, if you're looking for people to chat with, or if you simply just want to be a part of a friendly community, you are more than welcome to join us. The Discord link will be available in the pinned comment below. And just remember, if you're going through a difficult time right now, I just want to remind you of something very important. You do not have to face everything alone. Reaching out for help is not a sign of weakness. Talking to someone is not weakness. Asking for support is not weakness. Whether that's a friend, a family member, a trusted person in your life, a support group, or a qualified mental health professional, there are people who care and people who want to help. Please take care of yourself. Your well-being matters. Your health matters. And just remember, you matter. After hours of figuring out what materials we were going to use, planning out the layouts, placing blocks, rebuilding sections, refining details, and much more, the emerald base was finally complete. Or at least the structure was. The interior and the landscaping still need a lot of work. But seeing it finished like this for the first time is incredibly satisfying. The vibrant emerald accents, the scale of the structure, the custom detailing. Everything came together better than I could have ever imagined. It's one of those projects that completely transforms an area of the world. What started as an empty piece of land is now a landmark. A centerpiece, may I say. Something that immediately catches your attention whenever you fly past it. And honestly, it's one of my favourite things about Minecraft. The ability to take any idea and turn it into reality, block by block. With all that being said, that's going to be it for today's episode. The emerald base is finally complete, and I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and let me know in the comments what project you'd like to see next. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for your continued support, and just a massive thank you for being a part of this amazing community. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care and goodbye.